Welcome to AI Innovation Allies, the ultimate hub for cutting-edge AI insights. Join us as we collaborate, innovate, and elevate the world of AI. Oz and the Diva dive deep with AI experts as they share pioneering insights and groundbreaking industry innovations. Explore our tutorials and reviews to elevate your projects with the latest AI tools and techniques. Discover transformative AI collaborations through compelling case studies and real-world applications. Engage in community challenges, workshops, and webinars designed to fuel your passion for AI. Stay with us for the latest AI news updates and a peek behind the scenes into the dynamic world of AI. Together, let's shape the future of AI. Subscribe, collaborate, and be part of the revolution.
Well, hello everybody. This is Dustin and Oz, and we're going to be focusing mostly on Dustin's brilliant company, Magai.co, and all of the incredible things you can create with both images and large language models moving forward. The reason we're doing this is pretty straightforward. If you do not begin to utilize AI in your business and in your job in every performance way, you're going to be left behind in the next couple of years. I run an artists organization, and my artists have said, oh my God, AI will replace me. And I've responded, no, artists utilizing AI may replace you. Keep painting, but figure out what you're going to do with AI for all your promotions, for your business, for finding leads, for generating information for your website, for writing code, for all of the things that AI will do better and better every day. And it is daunting, and it is scary, and it is crazy. So I'm going to give the mic to Dustin for a minute, and then we're going to go into Magi. We're going to show you the image side. We're going to show you the large language side. We're actually going to do a search, and you're going to see me quite often putting lots and lots of posts up on this channel to show you how you can utilize AI for business, for home, for pleasure, for everything you want to do with it easily and cheaply. Dustin, the floor is yours.
All right, yeah, I guess I could just jump into a demo here. Let me know when you can see my Magi screen.
I can see your Magi screen, and I'm glad you have it on dark mode.
Great. So for businesses in particular, Magi has the really the best utility of any AI app in that you get access and you can give your whole staff access to the best of the best AI tools without having to pay individually for each and every one of them. The best of the best large language models, chatbots, and image generators or video generators. Very soon we'll also have audio generators as well. To really just put the power in your hands. Like Oz said, any business who's not leveraging AI in every area of their business is going to get left behind. I mean, there are already businesses being dwarfed by their competitors because they have been slow to adopt AI in their business. And really what AI is all about is helping the humans who have the skills to be better and faster with those skills. It's not about replacing humans. It's about empowering humans to do more with less effort and far less time. So in Magi, we have really two core areas. We have our chat page where we can chat with the most intelligent AIs in the world. And we have our image and video generation page. So we'll start with the chat page. And just like ChatGPT or Claude, if you've tried any of these tools, it's a very familiar interface. So you've got an input down at the bottom where you can type your messages and send them. And then we have a few more options that are really just the quality of life enhancements that I built into Magi because I know that businesses need specific tools to get work done. So the first thing that you'll notice in the top left corner is the AI model. You click on this button, you get a list to see all the available AI models that we have, we make available for our users. And there are quite a few of them. Now, why the need for all these models? Well, the truth is a lot of these AI models are really good at certain areas of generating language or doing things. They all have different skills. They all have different strengths. They all have different weaknesses. Some of them are better at math and better at highly complex tasks such as creating spreadsheets or analyzing large amounts of data, while other models might not be as good at that, but they are better at analyzing and summarizing text content. So you'll notice that some of them have just strengths and weaknesses, just like people have strengths and weaknesses. So you get to benefit from all of the strengths of all these models and sort of play them against each other. So when you need one task done, you can use the model that's best at that task. When you need another task that model is not good at, you can switch to a model that is good at that. So my personal favorite is Claude 3.5. If you're looking for human-like language, Claude 3.5 Sonnet is the best. Although GPT-4o is usually people's first choice because it's the one they're most familiar with. So I'll start with GPT-4o. I just selected it, and you'll see in the top left corner, it's now active in the chat. Now, the next thing you'll see over here is Bible Scholar. Now, no, Magi doesn't default to a Bible Scholar. It's just one of the many dozens of personas that we have inside of Magi that will enhance these AIs to give you even better output. So most people know by now, if they've used any chatbot, that the stuff that they get from that chatbot is usually pretty generic. It's as vanilla as it comes. You ask it to write something, and it may write something that you ask it, but it doesn't sound anything like you, or maybe it's overly generalized, or overly friendly, or overly not quite what you're looking for. So we've created personas that are really great at focusing the AI on specific tasks and increasing the quality of the output. So for example, if you are looking for a copywriter, we have a copywriting expert persona that you can attach to the AI, thereby creating much better copy for whatever your needs are. If you are looking to tell a story, we have a persona that is an expert storyteller. And you'll notice that when you use the storyteller, when you ask the AI to output a story, it does a much better job. And one of the biggest benefits of Magi is that you can create your own personas. We have an area in the app where you can create your own custom personas for your own custom needs. You can build it around your brand voice, your writing style, maybe specific data or analysis or insights that you have that are proprietary to your company. You can upload these to those personas, giving you the smartest AI for your needs. And that's what personas are. So I'll just go ahead and switch to our regular assistant. That's the default that all these start with. And to be honest, it does quite well on generalized tasks. And I don't think today we'll be doing any very specialized writing tasks, so we'll stick to the assistant. Now, some other things real quick that I'll mention that really do kind of enhance Magi's utility for businesses at large. A lot of times people are using these chatbots to write long form documents. You're writing blog posts or social media posts, or maybe you're doing presentations and you want to use the AI to help you come up with ideas, and you want to put those ideas somewhere and organize them in a long form document. Well, you don't have to open up a separate tab. You don't have to juggle different apps. We've got a document editor right inside the chat. So you can build that long form document right alongside your chat conversation. We also give you the ability to save prompts. If you have AI prompts that you've used and continue to use over and over because they work really well, you can save them to Magi and you get instant access to them. You can, in a single click, add it to the prompt box down there and just help speed up that workflow. Now, the other thing, obviously, we want to make sure that you have access to all of your previous conversations in case you need to go back to one that you made last week that had some really good output in it, and you want to either continue that conversation or you just want to pull from it. You can search through your chats very easily, find what you're looking for, and even filter through them. So really easy there. The last thing I'll mention here is just the chat info. We have a box where you can kind of just see the information about your given chat. Your title, you can change that anytime, what the current model is, what the current persona is, what workspace is in. This is something we can probably cover at a later time. What folder, you can actually create folders inside of Magi and add chats to them to stay a little bit more organized. You can share these chats with your team and make collaboration easily. You can even have, when you share a chat with somebody on your team, they can contribute to that chat just like you can. They can send messages to the AI and you can collaborate in the same conversation together with the AI. You can make these conversations public if you want and get a shareable link to hand out to anybody with that link so they can see it. And just also a conversation size. So you know how long this conversation is and if it's getting close to reaching the AI's memory limit, which is something a lot of people don't know because the big companies don't talk about it. But these AI models do have a very short memory limit, some of them. And so it's important to know, when the AI's memory starts to run out and it might start to forget things. So that's really the crash course in the chat. And I want to pause briefly just in case Oz has any questions.
Yeah, so before we move on to the image side, I don't want this video to be too long. I would like to do a quick search and have you recommend the best way to do that search. So as you know, Dustin, I run an artists cooperative called NMOSA, No More Starving Artists. And what we're looking to do is we're looking to change over from B2C to the vast majority of B2B, business to business. And we're looking for interior designers who procure art for corporations. In other words, art buyers for major corporations or big companies opening up a new headquarters or they're moving somewhere. What would you suggest we ask the AI to do to assist us with finding these interior designers who are art buyers for major corporations?
Good question. So the real task here is, or if I get to the core of the question is, how do I find leads for my business? Right?
Correct.
That's essentially what we're looking for. You have a very specific business and a very specific type of lead you're looking for, but the core foundational question is, how do I find leads for my business? So we can start with that basic query, and then we can customize it to our needs. How do I find leads for my business?
What are we searching in?
Okay, so right now we're not searching. Right now we're just talking to an LLM. We're just having a conversation with a super intelligent AI, and we're going to tell it what it is we want and what we need, and it's going to give us some instruction after that. So This is not a search. We're just going to say, I need to find this. How do I get that? Right? You start with the foundational question. So I need to find leads for my business. I'm looking for art procurement. I'm going to totally ruin this word. Procurement professionals in the B2B space. I sell high-end art and want to connect with those buying high-end art for corporations.
Pretty good.
How can I find these leads? So that's where I would start. I would start by asking the AI, how can I find these people? What are some tips in how I can find these people? Now you can send this prompt off, and I will. I'll just send it off to the AI. We've got GPT-4 active with the generic assistant. And so it's going to tell us where the best places are to find these leads based on its billions of parameters of data that it's been trained on.
Why did you start with GPT-4 versus something else?
I started with GPT-4 because when it comes to starting from scratch, we're asking for something that requires creativity and intelligence. In terms of intelligence, it's probably the most intelligent of all the AI models in terms of like how knowledgeable it is, how much data it's been trained on. And I'm not asking it for a copy. This isn't what I'm getting from it here. I'm not going to be putting out into the world. I'm not going to be publishing on my social posts. So I don't need it to sound human. I just want the smartest answer and the best answer. So GPT-4 is the one that I would go with for that.
And why just the assistant?
Because it's a generic ask, right? So we're asking it the most generic form of our question, right? I want to find leads for my business. They're in the art procurement space. And how do I find them, right? So I might have asked it of, I might have a marketing expert persona that I could have asked and gotten a similar image. But again, this is a generic task. This is a task where I'm just asking it a question and I need an answer. And so I wanted the most generalized answers possible. We can take these answers and get more specific with them. Personas really come into play when you want very you want customer facing output, or you want highly specialized output. Now, I don't have a persona that is highly specialized at lead generation or sales headhunting, so to speak. So for me, the basic assistant will suffice for this task. So it gave us some options. Say, leverage LinkedIn. This would be, as an experienced marketer, my first instinct would be search LinkedIn for people with this type of role in their
So let me just cut you off. How can we niche this down? Because I'm not going to attend art fairs. Okay. I am looking specifically to partner with interior designers. Okay. I hadn't even thought about architects. So can the AI niche it down to number 1, number 3, number 4, and expand on that? And how would we put that into the AI?
Yeah. So you just tell it exactly that. You say, I want to focus on numbers 1, 3, and was it 4 you said?
Yes.
Yeah, 1, 3, and 4. Give me an action plan, detailed action, to put these into practice. Okay, now here's where I'm going to get a little bit more advanced with you because, again, thinking about it as a conversation. I need this. How can I get this? The AI gave you an answer. Now you need to go to the next step, right? But we have a little trick here inside of Magai. Now, most people working with AI know that if you put garbage in, you get garbage out. The better your prompts, the more detailed your prompts, the more specific your prompts are, the better output you will get from the AI because it will give you more specific answers. Ask more specific questions, get more specific answers, right? So we have an enhance button. And this enhance button essentially will take your generic, your simple prompt here, and it's going to enhance it. It's going to use its AI superintelligence to say, how can this prompt be more detailed, more specific, and ultimately yield a better response from the AI that it's sent to? So I'm going to go ahead and hit the enhance button. And it's going to go to work trying to turn that simple prompt into a much more complex prompt. So here we have, instead of our simple prompt, it says create a detailed action plan that focuses specifically on implementing 1, 3, and 4 of the outlined process for optimizing prompts. Your action plan should include the following. Step 1, understand the original prompt. Carefully read the user's prompt line by line. Break down the prompt into components, topic, task, desired details. Note any gaps. Step 3, refine the prompt. Well, it looks like it's doing a prompt task here. Let me see. Yeah, it looks like it got confused here. So sometimes that happens, and thankfully we have a retry button. So let's retry that and see what else it comes up with. Seems like it was trying to instruct the model how to enhance the user's prompt, which is its job.
Or we may have to change the wording a little bit. It's still talking about the prompt.
Yeah, that's weird.
So why don't we rewrite that and be a little bit more specific with the AI that we want an action plan specific.
Yeah, here we go.
Yeah.
I want to focus on
What if we just do one task at a time, which is what you've taught me previously?
Yeah, that could work. On your first suggestion. Focus on your first suggestion. Give me a detailed action plan to put it to use. Okay. Want to focus on your first suggestion, which is leverage LinkedIn. Give me a detailed action plan to put it to use.
Well, let's just use that prompt. That's pretty specific.
Okay. Provide a detailed actionable plan based on your first suggestion that includes specific steps, milestones, and examples to facilitate its effective implementation. Include clarity on the goals and intended outcomes and structured plan in logical, easy to follow format for practical application. There we go. So we'll send that off to the AI and see what it comes up with. Goal: successfully connect with art procurement professionals and corporate buyers to showcase and sell high-end art pieces. Intended outcomes: step-by-step plan. Optimize your LinkedIn profile. I guess that's important. If you're going to reach out to people, you should have a pretty well optimized profile yourself, so they don't think you're, unprofessional. Identify and join relevant LinkedIn groups. This would also be something I would recommend as a social media consultant for 15 years. Build your network. Always be networking, right? Create engaging content, obviously. Direct outreach and scheduled meetings. Yeah, very detailed plan. Follow up and relationship building. Examples, blah, 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 blah. So yeah, I guess we have exactly what we asked for. Now you might go back and forth. You might say, well, I don't really like number 6, or, tell me a better way to, do number 3. Give me some tips for number 3. And you can continue this conversation on and on to really drill down and really have the ultimate coach next to you telling you exactly how to do these things.
Awesome. That is really, really great. Yeah. So I'm going to, if you could just shoot me this in an email, that'd be great. Although I know what to ask it moving forward. I don't know if
Well, the great thing about Magai, like I said, is it has a public link. I can just give you this link and you can go straight to it yourself.
Look at that. Okay. Well, once I have that link, I will play with that later tonight. Let's go really, really quick into the image side. There will be detailed training on everything we're going to mention. I'll do a lot of the image side. Dustin will probably do a lot more of the large language model side. There's literally almost nothing you can't do with Magai. And I love having all the AI tools I need in one place at one price. And just so you know, we have over 10 users, and I don't think we ever go more than halfway. In other words, I don't ever recall us utilizing more than 50% of what we need there, no matter how often we use it. And I use it every single day, as a lot of our users do. So you're always going to get more than you need with Magai, which is really cool. Dustin, if we could go to the image side and spend about 8 or 9 minutes there, just showing a little bit of what you could do for your business and for personal use, that would be great.
Sure. So we have a quick action button in the top left corner, a big blue button. If you hit it, you get a list of things that you can jump to quickly. I'm going to click on the create new image option, and we'll head over to the image editor interface. So just like the chat interface, you have the ability to sort of choose your model, and you can use the drop down over here on the right, and you get a list of all the available image and video models. And if you're not sure which model does what, we have a column that tells you what capabilities they have. So many of them will say text to image, which means you can type a prompt and it will create an image from that prompt. Some of them have image to image as well, which means you can upload an image to sort of guide the AI into what style image you want it to create. And then some of them you'll notice is image to video or text to video. And those would be our image or our video generators. So I'll pick my personal favorite here. Currently, it's Flux 1.1 Pro Ultra. Now, just like the LLMs, the reason we have multiple ones is because different image generators have different strengths and weaknesses. And without going into all of them, there's a whole blog post I'm writing about that. But basically, DALL-E. If you've ever seen an image created with DALL-E, you'll see that it's very good at like CGI and non-realistic cartoons. It does really well. But when it comes to photorealism, it's not very good at all. Flux, the family of models are very good at photorealism. Ideogram also does a pretty good job at photorealism. Leonardo has some models that will do really good at photorealism, but Leonardo also has several different fine-tuned models that have specific strengths and weaknesses. So the great thing about this is you can really explore the different ones and find the model that fits your needs. For me, I do pretty much only realistic stuff. And so I tend to go with the Flux models. And so just like in our chat, we would type our prompt. In this case, I forget what I was playing with here. I think it was like a great white shark swimming in an Olympic-sized pool. And just like in our chat interface as well, we have a prompt enhance button. Now, this is more important with image generators because with image generators, they really need a lot of detail. Now, you can give them simple prompts, and most of them can do interesting things with those simple prompts and come up with something really great. But if you leave the detail in the AI's hands, it's going to have to make some assumptions about what you want in that image that you may not agree with. So you want to be as specific and as detailed as possible so that the AI gives you exactly what you were envisioning in your head. And so for those of us who are maybe not the most detail-oriented people in the world, or maybe if you're just lazy like me, we have the prompt enhance button. You can hit that button. It'll take your simple prompt and add as much detail as it thinks is necessary to give you a beautiful picture. And then you can read through the prompt. So our simple prompt turned into a powerful great white shark swimming gracefully, centered in an Olympic-sized swimming pool, crystal clear blue water, reflecting the sunlight, lanes marked, invisible pool building with large windows casting natural light, high ceiling with shadows cast from overhead beams, photorealistic digital art, intricate details emphasizing the texture of the shark's skin and water ripples in the style of a professional underwater photographer like Brian Scary. Pretty detailed prompt. Very glad I didn't have to come up with all that myself. And then we could send it off, or we can choose what size we want. So by default, most AI models want to spit out a square image, but you can choose from portrait 3:4, portrait 9:16, landscape 4:3, or landscape 16:9. I'm a big fan of portrait 3:4 for some odd reason. And some of these models you'll notice have an advanced option button here, and you can add feed, which is essentially almost like a reference to another image that the AI model might have created. You can enter those seed numbers in there if you have them. And safety tolerance is for those models that have it. It's more or less like, do you want to make sure that it's safe for work? If you don't really care that it's safe for work, you want to heighten that safety tolerance. For the instances where you really want to make sure it's safe for work, you want to lower that safety tolerance. I don't particularly care because this prompt is not going to yield anything that is not safe for work. So we'll go ahead and generate that and see what the AI comes up with. Now, some models take longer than others because some of them are more intensive than others. But I found that the Flux models are pretty quick, and it's another reason why I like them. They have great output, and they're fairly quick as well. So there's our great white shark swimming in a Olympic-sized swimming pool.
But just so you know, guys, as much as I love the enhancing, it is very interesting what you can create with simple prompts when you give the AI a little bit more leeway into doing what it wants to do, into being very, very creative. I have produced, specifically in Flux, some absolutely brilliant art with a single word prompt, something like solitude or biomechanical, where it just goes into whatever AI world it wants to go, and it just hallucinates some absolutely outstanding artwork. Just so you know, Flux,
I love
Flux
that
and
too.
DALL-E 3 are my favorites. I love those two. I rarely use anything else. Leonardo is really good for creepy stuff, but Leonardo, you have an extra step because there's so many different programs within the Leonardo landscape that some of you may just use Leonardo because it is very detailed and can go into many, 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 many different parameters for almost anything that you want to create. I love Leonardo as well.
Yeah, so I'll show that real quick. So we've got Leonardo selected, and you'll notice another option here, which is model. If we click on that, we'll see that Leonardo actually has a bunch of fine-tuned models to pick from. So if you want something that's more anime, you can choose the Anime XL one. If you want something that's more 3D rendered, you can choose the Albedo base model. And it kind of shows you the type of art that it's best at in the photo, and then gives you some details if you hover over that one. Leonardo Phoenix is anything model, but then we've got Leonardo Lightning, which is great at photorealism, and Kino is more of a cinematic style, and it does really good with cinematic outputs. But you know what? I actually do that also. You mentioned that sometimes you like to give it a simple prompt. You know, when oftentimes I don't have a very specific image in mind, and so maybe I need some inspiration for what I want in that image. And by using a very simple prompt, I can be inspired to something that I actually wouldn't have thought of myself. And that's kind of one of the fun things about generative images is, you know, you might have your experiences and your history and your preferred styles, and that will very much inform how you see the world. But sometimes we want to break out of that. We want to break out of, our blinders, and our experiences, and explore more and grow our vision. And, giving the AI simple prompts where we don't give it any real specificity, that can be a great way to really expand our horizons creatively. So, I want to try this on, let's keep it Leonardo, and I'll give it Phoenix, since Phoenix is very sort of generalized, and I want it to be cinematic. We'll go 3-4 again. And again, just kind of displaying the different advanced options some of them might have. So with Leonardo, you can give it a negative prompt, which is essentially telling the AI, don't use these, like don't include, X, Y, and Z things. We've got a seed as well. And we could also, if we wanted to, upload an image to help influence the output, but we won't do that here.
And if you do use a negative prompt, do not say, do not put this in. It already knows that you don't want it. So you would say something like, too many fingers, too many toes, poor anatomy. Those are all the things you don't want it to have.
Right.
So, but AI has gotten so good that I almost never use negative prompts anymore. In fact, many models don't even offer it.
Yeah, so that's an interesting output.
That is not biomechanical.
Kind of not what I had in mind.
Let's go back to Flux. Let's go back to Flux 1.1 Pro and just do something really quick. And I'm gonna break a lot of this down in the coming days and weeks for you guys to give you an idea. I just love Flux. That's biomechanical. That's wicked. That's
pretty crazy. Wicked. Yeah. And so that in those two examples, we really see like how if you have a specific vision, you probably do want to add at least a few details, because it can give you something that you were completely not thinking of at all. And it's really just a roll of the dice. So if you can be more specific, do, but sometimes it is fun to do these experiments where you're as unspecific as possible. I like to throw emotions in there. So I will, one of my favorite prompts is pure joy. And I'll just throw that in there and see what it comes up with. And many times it's perfect.
That is outstanding. Look at that. That is pure joy. And this is why I love Flux Pro. It is just so outstanding with simple prompts, with detailed prompts. Again, I've gotten to the point where I've created some great stuff in Stable Diffusion and Leonardo and many of the others. I gravitate towards Flux Pro, and when I want to get super creative, always DALL-E 3. They're just absolutely outstanding, and they're getting better by the day. I can't even wait to see what the future holds. Thank you so much, Dustin. This is amazing. We're going to be coming at you with a lot more videos, with a lot more detail. You'll see me playing on a pretty regular basis in Magi, showing you a lot of the different things you could do. I don't take a lot of this stuff real seriously. I have a lot of fun with it. I create thousands of NFTs. I'm in a lot of NFT communities. And we hope you guys come back and play with us, and drop anything below, anything that you say, okay, I want you to create this, or I want you to do this, or I'm really looking to do this in my business. What would you suggest? And we will answer you. So thank you so much, Dustin, as always, for being brilliant, bringing AI to the masses in one usable interface, which is so important to us because we're all ADHD. I don't even know where I put my socks on some days. I don't want to have to look for prompts and images, and I don't have to with Magi.
That's the point. The phrase that keeps resonating in my mind is the democratization of AI. The problem with AI tools out there is they are made by developers who are too smart for their own good often, and they create really complex tools with really difficult to understand and implement workflows. I have a bias for pragmatism. I want it to be practical, and every feature that we add is scrutinized to the nth degree of, is this practical for everyday business use? And if so, how is it going to be used? And we don't add anything that violates that practical use bias.
Well, thank you again, Dustin. And if you guys love this video, you know what to do. And we hope to see you back regularly to talk about magi.co. You guys have a great day.